Ours is one of the many appointments scheduled up to October the 15th in the run-up to the third edition of the Youth for Climate Sparkling Solutions event, which will be held in Rome, and we see the participation of 150 young people from all over the world. We are live streaming on Twitch from the Aula Magna, the Great Hall of the Centro Studi Casnati in Como, Italy. My name is Maria Giovanna Bullock, but I go by Vanna. And up to a year ago, I was an English and Global Perspectives teacher here at the Centro Studi Casnati. The Centro Studi Casnati is a high school comprising a number of educational pathways and counting 800 students altogether. We have a Liceo Linguistico, specializing in modern languages, an art school, Liceo Scientifico, that is a high school specializing in science education, a hospitality and catering school, and an aeronautical school. The audience today includes the students from the Liceo Linguistico, accompanied by some of their teachers. The panel includes Amanda Abram, Director of the Global Schools Program, an initiative of the United Nations Sustainable Development Solutions Network, Nadia Pagliari, Global Partnerships and Events Project Officer at the Sustainable Development Solutions Network Youth, Giovanni Davi, Psychologist and Cognitive Behavioral Psychotherapist, Bruno Mocchi, creator of the La Method Project, and from the Centro Studi Casnati, Veronica Polizzi, Isabella Cotta, the students of the fourth year of the Liceo Linguistico Quadriennale, and Federica Quartesan. Welcome to everybody. I'd like to introduce Federica. Now, Federica Quartesan is Chief Program Officer for Casnati for ESD, Centro Studi Casnati, and a Global Schools Program Advocate. Federica is a high school science teacher and the coordinator of the Multidisciplinary Department of Civics, teaching at the Centro Studi Casnati in Como, Italy. In 2022, she became an advocate for the Global Schools Program and the Chief Program Officer for the Casnati for ESD, a new program developed by the Centro Studi Casnati in collaboration with global schools to integrate ESD into the school curriculum and spread ESD knowledge and actions in web communities. Federica has a Master of Science degree in biology with a specialization in applied biology and nutritional science, and has completed several postgraduate courses regarding innovative teaching and learning methodologies and sustainable development, for which she's always nurtured a great passion. Over to Federica.
Greetings to all. Firstly, we want to strongly thank the Global Schools Program and the United Nations SDSN for all the work done together so far to implement the program Casnati for ESD, and for having organized together with us the workshop that we are hosting today. A special thanks to Amanda Abram, the director of the Global Schools Program, for being personally here right now and for always being at our side. Moreover, we want to warmly thank the Italian Ministry of the Environment and Energy Security for having selected our proposal to join its campaign All4Youth Italy 2023, and for allowing us to speak in this very important context about ESD and the potential of its integration for Italian schools. Thank you so much. My speech today aims to analyze the meaning and the results of the program Casnati for ESD and its future challenges. First of all, ESD means Education for Sustainable Development, Casnati for ESD was born from the collaboration between the Centro Studi Casnati and the Global Schools Program. The Centro Studi Casnati for over 50 years has been offering its students cutting-edge education, always in step with their future. At the end of 2022, Casnati for ESD was launched with the promise to promote sustainable development through transformative education and the innovation of teaching strategies in line with the frameworks promoted by UNESCO. And nowadays, why is ESD the future of education? Well, climate and environmental problems are dramatically at the forefront of every media every week, with increasingly direct consequences for anyone. Glaring examples are migrations, extreme weather events, and pandemic risks. All of this means that the current model of civilization development is simply unsustainable for the future. The UN states that this model must be guided to transform itself into a new sustainable version. The 2030 Agenda was formulated to provide a framework of reference and indicate the objectives that will lead to this purpose. The European Union articulates the 2030 Agenda with the targeted actions so that the old continent plays a leading role in this revolution towards sustainability. In addition, the EU promotes learning for green transition and sustainable development in schools, followed, of course, by the same Italian Ministry of Education. The Global Schools Program plays a crucial role to support and accelerate the implementation of ESD into school curricula around the world. But how to integrate ESD into an Italian school curriculum? Well, the Department of Civic Education of the Centro Studi Casnati is transversal to all its paths of study. And as indicated by the Italian Ministry of Education itself, it plans, monitors, and ensures that each student makes use of a training course of at least 33 hours of lessons per year, thanks to the contribution of each teacher and field of study. Our Department of Civic Education, starting from the school year 2022-2023, has chosen to integrate the methods and the teachings of ESD, becoming the teaching engine of the same program, Casnati for ESD. The main objectives of the Casnati for ESD program are two. The first one is to train students and even before teacher prepared and sensitive to the concept of sustainable development so that they become educators and promoters of a more eco-sustainable way of life. The second one is to increase the general audience's sensitivity to ESD and sustainable development. And what are the Casnati for ESD innovative learning strategies? Well, Casnati for ESD means renewing the teaching contents to allow students during their high school career to achieve the learning objectives and skills for ESD promoted by UNESCO and experience the principles of socio-emotional learning. To pursue these results, Casnati for ESD must embrace teaching, innovation, and collaborate with experts and companies already engaged in sustainable actions. The most significant types of innovative ESD teaching activities are project-based learning activities. An example of PBL activity developed by Casnati for ESD was the realization of sustainable clothes in collaboration with the company La Méthode. And we will hear more from Mr. Mocchi soon. and challenge-based learning activities. An example of CBL activity promoted by Casnati for ESD was the participation in an FAI competition, of which students will speak to us shortly. Speaking about results, here are some figures collected between December 2022 and August 2023. ESD teaching has involved more than 800 students and 90 teachers during more than 1,300 hours of lessons. ESD event and conferences that took place at the Casnati Aula Magna counted more than 1,500 participants in person and 12 external guest speakers. The Casnati for ESD network has reached 18 organizations and companies, some involved in collaborative projects, some others in the realization of disseminative events. On Casnati's social media, more than 300 contents were published and addressed to an audience of 27,000 followers. The Casnati for ESD aims in the new school year to renew the important results of the previous one, giving more and more space to projects in collaboration with companies and associations. It will also be crucial to gradually extend our audience to regularly reach out to other local and international communities. The reference to follow the development of our work is the website esd.centrocasnati.it. And finally, I leave the word to all the other guests who I thank enormously for being here today. And I thank everybody for their attention.
Thank you ever so much, Federica. We're going over now to Amanda Abram, who is Director of the Global Schools Program, United Nations SDSN. And so Amanda, who is now with us, is the Director of the Global Schools Program, an initiative of the UN SDSN, which supports a network of K-12 educators in 1,500 schools in 80 countries, as well as more than 50 program alumni. She founded the Global Schools Teacher Advocates Program for teachers and educators to bring SDGs within school communities, curricula, and operations. Previously, Amanda's held positions with the Chilean Ministry of Education and worked on the US Department of State's international exchange programs for young leaders from Africa and the Middle East. She's a Fulbright Scholar recipient, UNCTAD Youth Delegate, and a Wise Emerging Leader Fellow with the Qatar Foundation. Amanda is a published author and holds a Master's in International Affairs from Columbia University and a Master's in Public Administration from the London School of Economics. Thank you ever so much, Amanda, for being with us today. Over to Amanda.
Thank you so much. I'm really, truly honored to be here as part of this wonderful initiative, All4Youth Italy. Thank you so much to the organizers, including the Ministry of the Environment and of Energy Security, and especially to Centro, Studi, Casnati. A huge thanks to Federica for all of her hard work organizing this event, as well as really pushing forward the vision for Casnati for ESD. So we're here to really emphasize the paramount importance of education for sustainable development and transformative education, especially in the ever-evolving landscape of today's world. In our world, we're grappling with an array of complex and interrelated challenges, ranging from global peace and the transformative impacts of AI to the threats of climate change. And in this context, the Global Schools Program believes that school communities themselves have a unique opportunity to be the innovators of change and that students and teachers can truly lead the way towards a more brighter and sustainable future. And as the leader of the Global Schools Program, I get the opportunity, the very great opportunity to see schools and students from about 100 countries working towards ESD in their operations and curricula. So why do we believe ESD is so important? So at GSP, we believe education is really a linchpin for fostering peace and understanding in a world with divisions. By equipping students with an understanding of the richness of different cultures, histories, and perspectives, we're nurturing global citizens. And in this context, education becomes a catalyst for breaking down barriers and promoting meaningful dialogue. And one of the most pressing challenges facing humanity today is climate change. The scientific consensus on the impact of human activities on our planet is indisputable, and the need for urgent action, especially by youth, is paramount. And this is one of the main reasons we are gathered here today as part of the All4Youth Italy campaign leading up to the gathering of young people in Rome and eventually to COP. And schools, as the center of knowledge dissemination, have a pivotal role in creating the next generation that we want and educating them about the climate and sustainability. And we can be the leaders to ensure that students grasp the science behind climate change, understand the consequences of inaction, and appreciate the multiple solutions at our disposal. But it's not just about the institutions themselves. It's about the individuals within these institutions, our teachers and our students really leading the way forward. And we believe teachers are at the heart of our educational system, and they have the potential to be powerful change agents. And moreover, students themselves possess the potential to be leaders in this endeavor. Students are the torchbearers of the future, and they will inherit the world that we leave behind. Students, your boundless energy, creativity, and idealism can really drive profound change. And when you have the right resources and opportunities, you can be at the forefront of sustainability initiatives. You can advocate for change within communities, influence policy at local and global levels, and inspire actions among your peers. So today we're really going to be seeing also the youth perspective leading up to COP28 in December, which is the largest gathering on climate of the year. And this year in December, youth have a grand opportunity. It will really be one of the first years where education is truly placed at the center of the agenda. There will be a day entirely devoted to education, youth, and skills. In addition, there will be an education pavilion and a youth and children's pavilion that really seeks to showcase the innovations of the world and how young people are already doing so much great work to really drive forward sustainable development. And for the students here, this is an opportunity to become more involved as young leaders on the global stage. And the question becomes, how will you take advantage of this even as you graduate from secondary school and go pursue other opportunities in your lives and careers, both personally and professionally? So my advice to you all is, when you're getting into this movement, is to first connect your own passion with sustainable development. Following one's passion is like chasing a guiding star. It's about finding that inner fire that fuels your enthusiasm and drives you forward. And when you're passionate about something, it's not work, it's a labor of love. For example, if you're passionate about the arts, think about how you can use this to raise awareness of the climate. If you're passionate about science and technology, look into how AI can be used for good. And there are so many ways for you to make an impact and see how you can be connected in this global movement using your own skills, talents, and passions. And in my role as director of the Global Schools Program, I have really witnessed the truly remarkable impact that students can have and education can have on transforming communities. We work tirelessly with schools all over the world to promote the SDGs and give educators the tools and resources they need to inspire students to become active global citizens. And now the Global Schools Program has schools represented in 100 countries and has directly reached 276,000 individuals. And this program, though, was not always this large. It was started originally by just a handful of youth, with no website, with not very many resources, with nothing but our passion and vision to create a global network that would connect all educators and students who are working to solve these problems. Because we believe in the power of primary and secondary students and schools to make an impact. And we believe in this to this day. And I share this with you to give you inspiration and to tell you that no idea or action is too big. And I invite you also to reach out to me with any advice you might need on your own sustainability journey. So in closing, education truly is the cornerstone of a sustainable, peaceful, and equitable future. It's a collective responsibility to ensure that education is truly transformative and that we can all work together to inspire the next generation. I'm very much looking forward to our continued partnership with Casnati for ESD in shaping a brighter future for all. Congratulations truly on all of the amazing and incredible work that your entire school has done, including the students, teachers, admin, staff, and parents, and everyone else involved. Thank you so much.
Thank you ever so much, Amanda. And I'm sure that the students are going to be fired by your words. I could read it in their eyes. Thank you ever so much. Okay. We're now going to go on to Nadia Pagliari, who is here in person with us today. And Nadia is Global Partnerships and Events Project Officer for ESD Youth. She is an innovation and sustainability strategist specialized in climate diplomacy. With a background in international relations and a master's degree in public diplomacy, she is actively engaged in youth initiatives both in Italy and abroad. Nadia serves as a project officer for global partnerships and events at the Sustainable Development Solutions Network Youth, SDSN Youth in Italy. In Italy, she actively promotes stakeholder and community engagement initiatives on Agenda 2030 issues. Notable achievements include contributing to Lombardy's first youth-focused regional law and annual participation in United Nations conferences of the parties as an NGO observer accredited to UNFCCC. She was nominated as a European Climate Pact Ambassador in 2021 by the European Commission, and she would be talking to us about generational synergy, harnessing dialogue across diverse work environments for tackling complex challenges. Thank you, Nadia, and over to you.
Okay, hi everyone. And thank you for having me here today. It's really a pleasure to be back because the Centro Studi does always so many interesting initiatives that we saw on sustainable development. And I think that, well, my words will really align with what Amanda just said, probably because we both come from the SDSN network, or probably because we've been dealing with this matter and how youth involvement can actually contribute to the climate challenge that we're facing. I have some notes here of what I wanted to talk to you about, but really I want to start with a story. And it's quite a recent one because it happened yesterday. I was talking with the Minister of Environment and the Director of the UNDP. So basically the two people that allowed the All4Youth initiative to happen. And I was really impressed to see how they were eager to start the All4Youth challenge, how they had spark in their eyes thinking, what will youth be doing? What can we learn from youth? Really, they're listening. So that's not something that happens very often. And the All4Youth initiative actually comes from an initiative of the former ministry, which was the Youth for Climate back in the COP of Glasgow, so a couple of years ago. That was actually one of Italy's most long-term visions and idea that we ever had in terms of climate change, because the former minister, he thought that youth could have a role, could be involved in the climate challenge. And so Italy hosted the pre-COP. So an event before the climate conference of parties, just dedicated to youth, to gather solution and to introduce to the actual event. Well, I believe that this initiative really resonates with what are the keywords of my speech today, which is generational synergy, dialogue across generation, and tackling complex challenges. So all keywords that we hear very often when we talk about climate change. And I do that because, as Ms. Bullock said, I'm an innovation and sustainability strategist, specialized in climate diplomacy. So what does that mean? Long story short, I help with corporation, organizations, association to build sustainability strategies. So that means to integrate sustainability into the core of the business, okay, to align mission and vision in a sustainability path. That's because sustainability most of the time is perceived as a detached concept, because it's like I'm doing my business, I'm running my life, I'm living my life, and then there is sustainability. This doesn't work. Sustainability has to be incorporated into the everyday life. We all know about that. But how? Because the problem here is that what we're doing today is not sustainable anymore. And that's not just in terms of environmental impact, because sustainability sometimes is just perceived as an environmental matter. I like to go back to the origins of the word, and sustainability actually means from the Latin to subtenere, so to hold up from below. And that means that something has to be extremely solid to be sustainable. So in order to be sustainable, we have to rethink what we're doing. We have to change the model, the way we think about things. We have to change how we perceive our life, our everyday life, and our attitudes and the way we do things. Because what we're doing today is inherently unsustainable. So the next question is, how do we do that? Okay, how do we become sustainable? And I usually start with a simple statement that I hear very often, which is, we need to find sustainable solution, which seems pretty logic, but actually it is not. Like, we don't need to find sustainable solution. The flow here is in the verb. We don't find solution. We must build them. It's very different, the concept, because it's not something that we have to look for. It's something that we have to work for. So that's why sustainable development is a challenge today. And that's where the generational dialogue comes into the discussion. And I'm always called an activist, and I like it. Personally, I'm proud of that label, but sometimes people say that's sort of spite, because they say, yeah, activists just make noise. They just go into the streets, and they're just the destructive part of this challenge. But sometimes noise is needed. So that's what I answer today to them. Sometimes the pressure that is created by activists is needed to make a certain issue relevant, in this case, climate change. Yesterday, I was also talking to a representative of the Environmental Commission of the Parliament, and she said, thank you, not just to me, of course, but to all the activists that were there. She said, thank you, because thanks to all the noise that you made, the climate agenda became relevant. So that's big, big, big achievement here. But the problem is that often we stop there. This is just step one. We made the problem relevant. So what's step two? Well, step two is where I work. Now that the climate agenda is relevant, we need to go from the disruptive phase to the constructive phase. So we need to work with decision makers, with policymakers to build a solution, as I said. And in order to be able to talk with decision maker, the most important thing is to be prepared. So that's why education is pivotal here, because if we want to raise our voices, we also need to have something that matters to say. So education really plays the role here. It's what makes the difference between just making noise and saying something, because institutions are listening, I'm telling you. And so what I'm asking you to do, what I do in my work, is to work for meaningful youth participation. Once that we made the problem relevant, once that we're ready to talk about that, we need to have a seat at the table. So we need to participate in the decision-making process of the climate change. We need to ask policymakers to take our ideas, our proposal into consideration. And this just can't happen as a one-time thing. We need to have events like this. We need to have participation forums in which young people are invited, not just for the sake of having young people there, but because they're a relevant part of the decision-making process. So ask for that. Amanda talked about the COP 2027, and I was there too, and I loved that it was the first COP in which a youth pavilion was allowed. There was an entire pavilion dedicated to youth, and it was not just for show. It was actually vibrant with initiatives. We also had, for the first time, a youth representative. And she was no activist. She was a doctor in her everyday life. But as Amanda said, you can do good. You can talk about sustainable development in every single path you choose in your life. So I ask you to keep learning about this matter. Be curious about that. And then don't be afraid to share your ideas, your proposal. Just find a way to do it in a structured way. As Amanda said, she started from nothing with just a group of people, but then they organized themselves and it became something big. It became something that had an impact. So I called on what she said. Think about the collective responsibility that we have in the global challenge of climate change, and think about you can be a young leader on a global stage, because the climate change is not like a relay run that they always say, that we pass the baton from one generation to the other. It's more like a marathon that we're all running together. So that's why we need to sit at the same table and shape solutions together. Thank you.
Thank you ever so much, Nadia, for that. And wow, what a journey yours and everybody's involved in the movement is. Okay, I'd like to introduce the next speaker who we will have in the video recording by telling you something about the SDGs. In a complex system such as that of sustainable development, SDGs are both necessary goals to achieve and potential sources of emotional conflict and experiences of dissonance. A clear example of such conflicts is the slow progress or even resistance to climate change policies because of the relationship across work choice, economic growth, and climate change. As UNESCO explains, the dual potential of dissonance to undermine development goals by enabling inactions and by fostering development-oriented actions necessitates appropriate dissonance management. Social and emotional learning has emerged as competencies through which individuals recognize and regulate emotions, identify positive purpose, demonstrate empathy for others, take constructive action, and promote human flourishing. To train emotional resilience and raise awareness of the personal and adolescent emotional sphere, from the school year 2022-2023, the Centro Studi Casnati has been offering a training course for teachers, thanks to the support of psychologist and psychotherapist, Dr. Giovanni Davi. Giovanni Davi is a psychologist and cognitive behavioral psychotherapist. He holds a master's degree in clinical psychology from the University of Bologna Alma Mater Studiorum. He graduated with honors in cognitive behavioral psychotherapy at the SPC School of Cognitive Psychotherapy. He trained in schema therapy and dialectical behavior therapy. He holds a primary and advanced practicum certificate in rational emotive behavior therapy. He also trained at the MDR Italy Association and is a corresponding member of the Italian Society of Behavioral and Cognitive Therapy, an affiliate member of the Italian Society for Dialectical Behavioral Therapy, and an ordinary member of CBT Italy and EMDR Italy. He has worked as a freelancer in Forlì, Rimini, and Sant'Arcangelo di Romagna. And we're now going to listen to his intervention through a video recording. Thank you.
Buongiorno a tutti, sono Giovanni Davì, psicologo e psicoterapeuta e formatore all'interno del progetto Elementi del DBT Skills Training, che ha visto la partecipazione di un gruppo di docenti dell'Istituto Casnati. Volevo innanzitutto ringraziare la professoressa Partesan per avermi invitato a questo importante evento. Avrei preferito partecipare di persona o in diretta online insieme a tutti voi, ma per impegni presi in precedenza questo non è stato possibile. Ho deciso comunque di inviare un mio piccolo contributo per questa conferenza che spero possiate trovare utile ed interessante o perlomeno il meno noioso possibile. Allora, la mia collaborazione con l'Istituto Casnati ha preso il via nel febbraio di quest'anno. Con un percorso formativo ed esperienziale alla cui base possiamo trovare alcuni dei concetti fondamentali della Dialectical Behavior Therapy. La DBT nasce per opera della professoressa Marshall, la quale sul finire degli anni 70 elabora un approccio terapeutico avendo come target di riferimento una popolazione clinica, in questo caso persone affette da un disturbo borderline di personalità. Nel corso degli anni l'applicazione della DBT si è estesa notevolmente ed oggi la letteratura scientifica sottolinea come essa abbia risultati positivi anche su popolazioni non cliniche e sugli adolescenti, evidenziando quindi la funzionalità anche preventiva di tale metodo. Prevenzione relativamente a possibili risvolti clinicamente significativi della cosiddetta disregolazione emotiva, ovvero la difficoltà a riconoscere ed esprimere le emozioni, ad inibire comportamenti disfunzionali conseguenti a stati emotivi intensi e ad organizzare il proprio comportamento in strategie orientate al raggiungimento di obiettivi. La disregolazione emotiva va considerata in termini dimensionali e quindi va inserita in un continuum e non categoriale. Ognuno di noi può incappare nella disregolazione emotiva in talune situazioni. Chi tra i presenti non ha mai insultato nessuno durante un acceso litigio o magari quando gli tagliano la strada ad un incrocio. Ecco, questo può essere un esempio di comportamento disfunzionale in risposta ad uno stato emotivo legittimo di rabbia, ma non necessariamente rappresentare un sintomo di una conclamata patologia psicologica. Durante l'adolescenza la disregolazione emotiva è per certi aspetti anche naturale, è la diretta conseguenza dei cambiamenti a livello cerebrale che interessano questo periodo della nostra vita. Brevemente, durante il periodo adolescenziale, la parte del nostro cervello dove nascono le emozioni, il sistema limbico, raggiunge la piena maturazione, mentre la parte deputata alla regolazione emotiva, la corteccia prefrontale, maturerà solo verso i 30 anni. Quindi si può dire che durante l'adolescenza l'acceleratore funziona alla grande, mentre il freno un po' meno. Tutto questo per dire che sì, gli adolescenti possono provare emozioni più intense, possono essere più sensibili, possono anche essere più impulsivi, ma tutto questo non perché siano strani o abbiano qualche problema, ma per un processo biologico del tutto naturale. Se a questa condizione biologica aggiungiamo un contesto sociale, la famiglia, il gruppo dei pari, la scuola, in cui lo stato emotivo provato dall'adolescente viene sistematicamente svalutato, ovvero l'ambiente in cui la ragazza o il ragazzo sente di non avere il diritto a provare una certa emozione e viene anche giudicato negativamente per questo, ecco che allora il terreno è fertile affinché la disregolazione emotiva possa potenzialmente assumere caratteri più patologici con conseguenze senz'altro più serie. Attraverso la DBT abbiamo l'opportunità di coltivare la capacità di regolare il nostro stato emotivo e di porre quindi le basi per la creazione di un contesto sociale improntato alla validazione delle emozioni. Che vuol dire validare? Validare vuol dire dare un senso a ciò che noi proviamo. Vuol dire che tutte le emozioni hanno diritto di esistere e vuol dire che io ho il diritto di provarle tutte, quelle piacevoli e quelle no. In quanto essere umano è mio diritto provare gioia, certamente, ma anche ansia, anche tristezza, anche rabbia, vergogna, gelosia. Se il mio compagno di banco si comporta nei miei confronti in un modo che io trovo ingiusto, ha perfettamente senso che io possa provare rabbia. Il punto è, come agisco io in base a questa rabbia? Gli faccio notare che questo comportamento a me non piace, mi mette a disagio, mi crea fastidio, o gli tiro una testata. Ecco, la DBT lavora anche su questo aspetto, ovvero dopo aver validato lo stato emotivo, posso concentrarmi su strategie più funzionali che mi permettano di agire le mie emozioni in un modo che possa essere più sano per me e magari anche per il compagno di banco. Il progetto Elementi del DBT Skills Training prevede una parte più formativa durante la quale il partecipante apprende le varie abilità, le varie strategie della DBT che sono raggruppate in 4 moduli: mindfulness, tolleranza della sofferenza, regolazione delle emozioni, efficacia interpersonale. A questa parte più accademica si affianca una parte invece più esperienziale, nella quale i docenti vengono invitati ad applicare e a vivere la loro realtà quotidiana alla luce di quanto appreso. Perché non è sufficiente sapere che, ad esempio, le emozioni vanno validate. Se vivo e agisco su me stesso il concetto di validazione, ovvero mi do il diritto di provare una certa emozione, non solo starò meglio, che già di per sé è cosa buona, ma avrò maggiori probabilità di validare anche lo stato emotivo altrui. In questo modo ho l'opportunità di contribuire a creare un ambiente più accogliente nei confronti dei sentimenti delle altre persone e quindi anche degli studenti. Ed è proprio questo uno degli aspetti più gratificanti dal mio punto di vista e come formatore e come clinico. Assistere ad un gruppo di persone che decide di mettersi in gioco, aumentando la propria cultura emotiva. Un gruppo che coltiva con costanza il rispetto dei propri sentimenti e di quelli altrui, con l'obiettivo e di migliorarsi e di contribuire al miglioramento di chi ha intorno. E badate bene che questo assume un carattere significativo per gli insegnanti e per il loro ruolo educativo nei confronti dei loro studenti. Oltre a ciò, questo percorso mi ha dato anche modo di assistere alla nascita di un'attenzione diversa alla vulnerabilità, un'attenzione improntata all'accettazione, un'accettazione che non vuol dire arrendersi in maniera passiva, ma vuol dire riconoscere in maniera attiva, in una modalità che possa offrire uno spazio per trovare un miglioramento. So bene quanto sia difficile parlare delle proprie emozioni e la progressiva apertura che i partecipanti a questo percorso, a questo progetto, hanno mostrato nell'esplorare, nel riconoscere i loro sentimenti, anche quelli spiacevoli, posso dire che ha creato un ambiente sicuro e comprensivo in cui tutti hanno avuto l'opportunità di crescere e di imparare insieme. Giunto alla conclusione di questo mio breve contributo, volevo ringraziare i docenti e partecipanti, i miei compagni di viaggio, per la fiducia che mi hanno dimostrato nel farsi accompagnare in questo percorso, che tra parentesi continuerà anche in quest'anno scolastico. Volevo inoltre cogliere l'occasione per ringraziare la direzione dell'Istituto Casnati per aver creduto nella realizzazione di questo progetto, anche perché non è comune trovare chi decide di investire nel benessere emotivo. Ringrazio ancora una volta la professoressa Quartesana per avermi invitato a partecipare a questo incontro e infine vorrei ringraziare tutti gli altri partecipanti a questa giornata, studenti e relatori. A tutti voi un grazie di cuore.
And now, directly related to that, we will have Veronica Polizzi, who is a teacher here at the Centro Studi Casnati, will be discussing her experience of DBT skills training. And Veronica is a foreign language addict. She's got passion for languages, and she's linked to her love for traveling, which brought her to get a Master of Modern Languages for International Communication and Cooperation. And after a period spent in Germany with the Erasmus program, she later specialized in teaching German as LS and L2. She's now a high school German teacher at the Centro Studi Casnati in Como, Italy. Over to Veronica. Thank you.
Okay, so hi everyone. My speech is going to touch upon the following points. A brief explanation of what SEL is, the bond between SEL and ESD, SEL at school, thanks to the DBT teachers training, why teachers should be involved in it, and my personal experience of the application of DBT teachers training. First of all, what is social-emotional learning? Kazel wrote a definition in 2020 through which SEL is identified as an essential part in both education and everyday life, since it allows everyone to manage emotions and achieve personal and collective goals, showing, for example, empathy and establishing constructive relationships. SEL is strictly connected to ESD, and it belongs to an ESD principle, since SDGs are both goals to achieve and potential sources of emotional conflict. The most important thing is to be able to manage and self-regulate any emotion in order to achieve any aim, and it is an ability acquired through SEL. What about SEL at school? The environment we live in really affects our psychophysical development, especially during the period of adolescence. As a result, disabling one can bring to an emotional dysregulation from a clinical point of view. School plays a fundamental role in preventing emotional distress. And for this reason, since last year, our school has been offering a training course according to the model of dialectical behavior therapy for teachers engaged in Casnati for ESD activities, thanks to the support of the psychologist and psychotherapist, Dr. Giovanni Davi. But why teachers? Teachers play an essential role since they spend as many hours with the students as their family do. They are educators, guides, and reference figures. Moreover, they have an impressive emotional closeness with their students. So if properly educated in DBT, they can learn to handle emotional dysregulation and even prevent future dysfunctional behaviors. As Carl Bühner once said, they may forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel. I had the opportunity to join the DBT teachers training, and thanks to it, I realized that I can handle center situation, that I live at school every day as a teacher, and deal with problems in a certain way. In particular, as a German teacher, I analyzed some negative attitudes proper to the so-called foreign language anxiety that affects students in different ways, from the fear of speaking or not, the fear of not understanding what is requested, the fear of making mistakes or not being understood, linked to the fear of being laughed at or being negatively judged by their classmates. All these fears can bring to both personal and collective dysregulation, from the difficulty in modulating emotions to poor awareness of emotions, and from unstable relationships to social isolation. After an accurate analysis of these negative feelings, I worked with my students through concrete actions in order to achieve positive ones. In particular, from the DBT modules, we follow the following steps. First of all, we worked on acceptance and validation. And through the module Tolerance of Suffering, we were able to admit that anxiety exists and we should learn to cope with it in everyday life. Then we made a proper change and work on problem solving. On the one hand, from a personal point of view, through the emotional regulation module, we managed to be aware of the emotions experienced, and after having identified them, modify and regulate them. On the other hand, from a collective point of view, through the interpersonal effectiveness model, we learned to build healthy relationships based on respect and collaboration, while pursuing our own goals and expressing our own needs. Oh, so my speech ends here. I thank everyone, and I yield the floor to the other speakers. Thank you.
Thank you, Veronica. Next, we have Isabella Cotta, who is also a teacher here at the Centro Studi Casnati. Isabella attended the Aeronautical School here, and in the meantime obtained a private pilot license for seaplanes. Presently, she's a teacher of logistics at the school and holds the position of Flights and Operations Planner at Aero Club Como. She always aspires to broaden her horizons in search of new challenges, connecting with industry experts who can enhance her skills and help her career take off. Thank you, Isabella. Over to you.
Hello, everyone. It's an honor to be here, and my speech is talking about school and partnership. Sometimes students become demoralized because they perceive their goals and dreams as too distant and too difficult to achieve. Integrating a partnership with established companies into the educational environment encourages students to be more motivated and to understand the aspects they need to focus on to reach their own goals, no matter how big or small. This approach allows for the application of project-based learning and challenge-based learning in real-world situations. Partnership can also bring significant opportunities for the future. Students gain exposure during meetings, summer internship, and competitions. On the other hand, companies appreciate their skills and in many cases contribute to their training for future careers. Collaborating with external companies and initiatives enables students to look beyond the protected school environment and engage with people of different ages, experiences, and personalities. This is a practical application of social-emotional learning that extends beyond the school setting. Knowing how to interact with others in the various situations that daily lives present, it's not easy, also for adults. It's not only students who should reconsider their perspective. Teachers can also benefit. Over the past year, a group of teachers had the opportunity to participate in a project with an external expert in dialectical behavior therapy, DBT, Giovanni David. What struck me the most personally was emotional regulation. That weight of judgment and the fear of inadequacy can influence our behavior also with students. We can see this concept made real in a partnership we have undertaken, such as the partnership between our aeronautical school and Aero Club Como, the historic flight base in our city. The project aims to engage and integrate students into the world of aviation, imparting skills useful for the future and roles in the sector. The project began as a traditional summer internship, but has evolved into a training program that leads students to become docking assistants, technicians responsible for the main flight operation with seaplanes. This has not only expanded their skills, but also provided a direction for future careers. Another example is the partnership between our art and language schools and a special school from Santa Teresa in Ghana. The collaboration project is titled Fashion That Unites Cultures. The African school was involved in creating 2 outfits designed by our fashion students. This challenge allowed students to address linguistic and cultural differences and understand the true meaning of collaboration, both internally between the art and language institutes and externally with the school in Ghana. This initiative transcends geography and cultural boundaries, demonstrating that fashion can also be a way to bring together people and different cultures. This experience we have had in recent years show how partnership can be a real opportunity, not only to reflect on the future choice around us, but also to broaden our horizon and become more globally aware citizens. Thank you for your attention and don't give up to follow your dreams.
Thank you ever so much, Isabella. And now we have our students coming up. So the students now represent the Liceo Linguistico Quadriennale, a group of 10 students who are now in their final year. The class includes nationals from different countries: Italy, Peru, Korea, Switzerland, Brazil, Mexico, and Germany. The students who chose to speak today are Laura, Silvia, and Tommaso. They will be speaking on behalf of all of their classmates about the experiences of project-based learning they had last year. Their interventions are the result of reflections conducted in class that involve the whole group, and the conference itself today is another opportunity to put into practice transversal skills such as public speaking and critical thinking. Over to the students. Okay.
Good afternoon to all. I'm going to do an introduction based on project, explaining many points that are important to do. To undertake a project means actively participating in activity or initiative aimed at achieving a specific goal. Being a part of it means being involved in the process of planning, execution, and evaluation of such a project. An environmental competition like FAI can be an opportunity to address climate change and promote the related actions. By participating in this type of competition, individuals can increase awareness, so the competition can raise awareness among participating about environmental issues, educating them about topics such as nature, conservation, and sustainable energy. It engages the community here. The competition can inspire the others to join in, creating a network of individuals committed to the environmental. There are many levels that developed within a project include cognitive level, metacognitive level, and skills. Cognitive level, it involves acquiring the knowledge and skills necessary to advance the project, such as research on the environment and sustainable practices. Metacognitive level, it concerns the ability to reflect on the evaluate one's own work within the project, identifying strengths and weaknesses, and making improvements. Skills involves the practical skills needed to implement the project, such as planning and carry out concrete actions. An environmental project can stimulate individuals by providing them with a sense of purpose and the opportunity to contribute on important goals. The emotions include can range from a sense of accomplishment and satisfaction in seeing the results of their work to pride in making difference for the environment and concern for the health of the planet and future generation. Additionally, can lead to a stronger connection with nature and increased awareness of the importance of preventing it. Thank you.
FAI stands for Fondo Ambiente Italiano, and it is an Italian nonprofit organization dedicated to the conservation and enhancement of the cultural and environmental heritage of the country. FAI is known for its commitment to the protection of Italy's historical, artistic, and natural assets through a series of initiatives and projects. One of FAI's educational programs is Challenge-Based Learning, CBL, which is an innovative educational approach that is based on solving real-world problems through collaboration and practical learning. This method differs from traditional memorization-based learning and instead focuses on students' ability to identify and solve complex real-world issues. CBL encourages students to work together to address specific challenges and apply their knowledge and skills to find creative and practical solutions. In the context of FAI, challenge-based learning could be used to engage students in the conservation and enhancement of Italy's cultural and environmental heritage. For example, students might be challenged to identify innovative ways to preserve and restore a historical site or to develop sustainable projects of natural resource management. This type of approach not only helps students learn in a more engaging way, but also contributes to raising awareness and interest in the preservation of Italy's heritage. My classmates and I have decided to explore Piazza Cavour in Como. Through this experience, I have learned the importance of preserving and enhancing the cultural and historical heritage of places like this. I have discovered how architecture, public artworks, and the surrounding environment can contribute to creating a unique and engaging atmosphere.
Good morning to everyone. I'm Tommaso, and now I'd like to share with you my experience regarding a project I worked on with my classmates, Riccardo and Giorgia, that sit here in the front. As Sylvia mentioned, our project revolved around selecting an area of the landscape and creating a meaningful work related to it. As a primary task, Riccardo and Giorgia have chosen to make a video presentation about the landscape. One of the prominent hurdles was fitting all the information we wanted to convey within the given limits so that the message would be clear and concise without unnecessary verbosity. This necessitated precision in order, this necessitated precision in our choice of words and effective communication. In addition to managing time constraints, we had to conduct extensive research. This brought us in order to do this, we had to reach out to the elderly local residents and engage them in interviews and in conversations so that we could expand the information and gather their knowledge. This approach allowed us deep connection and understanding with the topic, something that's not always achievable throughout standardized learning methods. Another challenge we faced was the fact that we've chosen to capture aerial footage of the landscape with a drone. So we had to learn about the rules and regulations about operating a drone safely and within the legislation limits. In essence, this project provided us numerous opportunities to learn and grow, and also organizational skills became mandatory in order to meet the deadlines. Also, editing skills were necessary to put together the video and audio files into a concise and clear video. In conclusion, this project not only expanded our knowledge, but also taught us essential life skills that extend beyond the classroom, and they reinforced the importance of effective communication, time management, efficient use of resources, all lessons that will undoubtedly serve us well in the future. Thank you.
Thank you ever so much to our students, and it was great to hear from them. And we are now going to listen to the intervention by Bruno Mocchi, the creator of the La Method project. Bruno is the owner of Produce Synapsi and the creator of the project. As I told you, La Method. He grew up amid circular knitting machines and yarns. And after experiencing the enormous waste hidden in the clothing industry, he rebelled against the fashion system. Since then, it continues change to improve and create excellent knitted fabrics, always applying care and quality to finally create a durable and environmental friendly garment. His motto is buy less, buy better. Thank you. Over to Bruno.
Hi to everybody. Nice to be here, and thanks to be here to everybody. Be la New Method was the project I presented in Casnati for ESD, and it's now clear to everybody. It's now clear to everybody that in order to make up for mistake made, by mankind towards the planet, so to mistake made by mankind towards the planet, we must seek and find new ways of living, producing and evolving. Rebalancing our environment impact is essential, and it's mainly these young creator and creative people of our who will have to imagine and realize it in their life. Young people are free and creative, and they are called upon to engage and use their inexperience to imagine the unimagined, to imagine precisely a new world with new balance, new system, and new value. Thanks to the Casnati ESD program, we have the chance to do it successfully. The project Be la New Method that we proposed to 18 students of the 4th year of the Artistic High School at Casnati Center is one of our best goals up to now. We asked them to design and develop a simple and durable garment to take consumption and waste into high consideration. Basic tailoring process and possibly be unisex. for harmonize with La Méthode styling images and use the upcycled recognized same symbols, metal stylist images, sorry. That recognize the symbol that we have chosen to make our brand artifact iconic. We create for that project a new fabric that has not undergone any chemical treatment, made from 80% of hemp, 20% of great cotton supima from US. To prepare it, we consume only 10 liters of water, no chemic, no color, nothing. Picture of the prototype highlight the excellent work of all the students that all the students have done. La Méthode and Build a New Method project is a good example of how it's possible to engage and change our young creatives for the better. La Méthode wants to be always on disposal to transmit his know-how to young fellow, making available to everyone, young and old, enthusiast and curious, the culture of doing and the skills acquired over a lifetime of craftsmanship. Bringing more and more people to consider craft culture a small-scale customized production is the best way to return to progress as a species and solve some current problem the world is experiencing. Today's mega industrialization, ultra fast fashion are squandering enormous resources and energy. That's why we ask our adopter to pre-order the clothing. Pre-order is a good example of how it could be easy to drastically reduce, if not eliminate, overproduction. We craftsmen have long been committed to preserving and evolving quality and customized production. At La Méthode, we are promoting deplastification in clothing and calling it evaluate the entire life cycle of the garment. Thanks to listen and have a good life.
Thank you ever so much, Bruno. Okay, so this, of course, brings us to maybe the most interesting part for the students, the opportunity to come in with the questions, which our speakers would gladly answer.
I do have a question, actually. It is for Amanda Abram. I don't know if she's okay. Well, my question is, how much will this project develop in the following, for example, years? Like, I think that in, I think even 2 years, this project will be stronger and stronger, but right now we are with 800 schools, I think. How much it will develop more?
Yes, thank you so much for the question. So from the perspective of the Global Schools Program, right now we have about 1,500 schools in the network. And part of our strategy going forward, actually, we just celebrated our 5-year anniversary this month, which is very exciting. So part of our strategy going forward is to not only expand the network, but also I have a vision to train about 50,000 teachers, which will really create a movement for scale and impact, and also think about how we can be more strategic in developing country and local level programs in specific languages to really ensure that the movement spreads even more. So that's part of the strategy that we are working on in setting up specific programs in certain states, regions, and localities. And as far as the Casnati for ESD and the vision for that, we will always continue to support anything that your school does. And I think Federica will be able to share a little bit more on that vision for that program.
Thank you so much.
Thank you ever so much, Riccardo. Any other questions? We've got a hand down there. Yes, somebody wanting to ask a question down there. Okay.
Right, so I want to say
It was a great conference. Now, my question is, how can we like help raising awareness of this project?
I think that maybe Nadia could come on because, I mean, since we're based in Italy, maybe Nadia is the person who can best answer that question. Thank you.
Well, it's not an easy job, definitely. Sorry, maybe I'll go over here. And the point is, just try to convey the vibe you're feeling here today, because what I'm perceiving is that you like this kind of project. So it's much easier to talk about something that you like. So each one of you will probably convey this kind of project in a different way, because what it means to me, it's different from what it means to you. So each one of us will have a different way of telling this message. But I was saying before, try to have a strategy. So try to think first, what are you trying to convey? So what is the message that you're trying to deliver? How are you trying to talk about this project? Okay, set your goals, that's what they say. And second one, I know it's a very marketing approach, but usually it works. Think about who you're delivering this message. So who will be the people that will listen to you? It will be people that you know, your friends, your family. It will be institutions. It will be the school. It will be, I don't know, other organization from the city or even in Italy. So think about the people you talk to, because this also helps you to convey the message. And the third thing, that which is the most important, is don't just think about that, but do it. I did a lot of initiatives when I was young. I mean, not old right now, I like to think, but I used to do a lot of initiatives, and people always were asking me, how can I do that? I would love to do that, and I would love to, I have this idea, but I don't know how to do it. And if I have to be completely honest with you, I had no idea either. But yeah, no, I had no idea either. I just really started most of the time. I was like, I really want to do this event in my university. I think about what I want to do. I think about who I can talk about it. And then I just start. The most difficult step is the first one. So just really do it, and then it will follow the rest. You will actually find yourself in the middle of the process, and you'll end up doing something great.
This brings us to a close. And I think that we can safely say that was really an eye-opener, because although the students have been working on these ideas now for quite some time, but to see it all come alive, to see how they are part of a much larger community, I think it is essential to them. It gives them even more sense of purpose and of direction. I would like to mention, because there wasn't time to, unfortunately, make them speak today, the great work done by the students of the Liceo Linguistico, also not the Quadriennale, with their translation work. And they have been extensively working through their translation on the concepts of sustainability in the fashion industry. And I'm sure that Bruno probably enjoyed talking to them and discovering more about that. And I remember when we first moved, I was still a teacher here, the very first times we came up against some of these ideas, and they were entirely new to them, and understanding what, for instance, the supply chain is, and how important traceability is, and retraceability. And now they're talking about, now they're experts on not only recycling, but upcycling and everything. And the cooperation also with the local newspapers, Nadia was telling us that we can find new ways. We've been working for some years now with La Provincia and the local newspaper, and this has given us an opportunity to understand more about the territory and the local problems. And in particular, the students translate articles both for TES twice a year, which is magazine all devoted to the textile industry, the local textile district, and also to, they translate articles for Enjoy, and they're learning about the territory from the point of view of tourist development and sustainable tourism at that. So all this all comes together, I think, in different ways. Thank you ever so much to Amanda and Nadia in particular, because their passion is something that we can all learn from, and their commitment and their devotion. And I would like to thank especially Federica for all the hard work that she's put into what Casnati now is and what it stands for. Thank you, Federica. And I'll give over.
Thank you. Thank you so much to everyone. Thank you so much to Vanna, that for me is a mentor, I think. And this is a concept really felt also in global schools. What is mentor? And today it is her birthday, and so now we will celebrate her also for this. And thank you so much to everyone.
Thank you. Okay, thank you again. And bye to everybody, and hope to meet again soon.